Hi everyone, Shika here with NarcDojo, where we talk about pathological narcissism, spirituality, personal development, and raising your awareness. In today's video, we're going to be talking about no contact. And no contact is what you have to do to distance yourself from toxic, narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, abusive people. And this is simply because they are abusers. They exist in victim abuser consciousness. So oftentimes you will see me use the Hawkins scale by Dr. David R. Hawkins and understand that pathological narcissists, people with the patterned behavior of narcissism, which is grandiosity and excessive need for admiration, empathy impairment, and pathological lies, are stuck at the bottom of the scale. So we are all here to reach enlightenment. We're all here to reach our highest potential, right? We're all here to self-actualize. We all want our third eyes open or our crown chakra activated. However, when it comes to a consciousness level, then pathological narcissists are stuck at the bottom of the scale. They're not growing, they're not expanding. They are in a shame pride cycle. And they have been in this shame pride cycle long before you came into the picture. Because pathological narcissism is a type of psycho-spiritual arrested development. And because they are stuck at this low level vibration, then they must pull you down to their level because they are unable to ascend. You're dealing with people that are running from their shame. They're not facing their shame. So they run from their shame. They get to the level of pride, and pride cometh before the fall. So they fall right back down to shame. They are stuck in this cycle. And just like Einstein stated, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So it is important that you understand that pathological narcissists are stuck in a cycle. They are on a hamster wheel. And this is why when you're in relationships with these people, it seems like nothing ever changes or nothing ever gets fixed because it can't. They're stuck. Again, you're dealing with severe psycho-spiritual arrested development. Understand that when we're talking about the psychological aspect of this, we're talking about the psyche or the personality or what you may hear me refer to as the soul. So clinicians may refer to this as a personality disorder, or you may hear me say that they are dark souls or they are lost souls. And this is because you're dealing with someone that abandoned their true selves in childhood. And instead, they adopted a false self. So you're dealing with people that believe that they are the mask. They believe that they are their ego. But this in itself does not make sense because we are spirit operating a human body with access to our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions as tools. And if pathological narcissists believe that they are the ego, then they believe that they are the mind. Hence, they believe that they are the tool. So you're dealing with someone that is losing their mind, but again, it's a lot more than just losing their mind. They have severe psychological issues, and not just psychological issues. It is a type of psycho-spiritual arrested development. You're dealing with someone that abandoned their true self, their true guidance system, their true operator of their ship. The captain is in the back seat now. The captain abandoned the ship. And this is why you cannot build with a narcissist. There's no one to build with. They don't know themselves. And knowing thyself really is the number one rule to life. And instead of knowing thyself, they abandoned the self. So understand that if someone is based in shame and they're unable to move past their pride, There is nothing that you can do to change this. There's nothing that you can do to change this type of arrested development. And you can compare this to being like an unripened fruit. So that plant did not receive enough water, sunlight, and enough nutrients to produce a ripened fruit. So there are some elements missing. And you cannot put an unripened fruit back on the tree because it's already fully grown. However, it grew missing some elements, and when you bite into an unripened fruit, it is not going to be a very pleasant experience. And that is really similar to how it is when you get into relationships with pathological narcissists, because you could be dealing with someone and they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, narcissists that are elderly, so 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. And they are going to act like a maladaptive toddler because at their core, they are more so between the ages of about 5 and 12 years old. They stopped growing. They're unripened fruit. You're dealing with Peter Pans or Patricia Pan. Again, they did not grow up. So physically they grew. That's the default. The body is going to grow. But again, behind the veil, they stopped growing a very long time ago. So if they behave somewhere between the ages of about 5 and 12, then let's say the average is about 7 or 8 years old. The average grade of a third grader. And we're talking about a maladaptive third grader here. And this is really best summarized in a great quote by healer, author, and shaman, Dr. Malidoma Patricia, where he states that if you keep a person in an adolescent state, then they will act militaristically. So adolescent state means underdeveloped state. It means a Peter Pan type state. It means a unripened state. And militaristically means that they're going to be very volatile, very unstable, and also very violent. Again, they are toddlers trapped in adult bodies, but do not mistake this for them being innocent. They're not innocent. They are always plotting to bring you down. So understand that water must meet its own level. And again, since they cannot ascend, you must descend into the third dimension with them. So as it relates to no contact, you have to go no contact because you're dealing with a highly disordered individual. You're going no contact to protect yourself, and no contact is different from the silent treatment, which is an abuse tactic that the pathological narcissists like to use to keep their victims in control. You are going no contact, meaning you're blowing the bridge up, you're cutting them off to protect yourself. You're not doing this to punish the narcissist. The narcissist is punishing themselves simply by existing. They're stuck in suffering. This is why they want you to suffer with them, because they're stuck in suffering. They're stuck between shame and pride. Can't regulate their emotions on their own, so they must feed on other people, just like parasites. So when it comes to no contact, you are blocking the narcissist on social media. If you're on social media, you are adjusting your privacy settings. You are blocking their phone number, so they shouldn't be able to call you, or if they call you, you're not going to receive it. So you're blocking their phone number so that you don't receive their text messages or calls. Some people are in situations where they may need to physically move, right? They need to change apartments, change houses, change states, change parishes, change countries. Again, you are distancing yourself from that toxic individual to protect yourself. Because what you may also encounter after the relationship ends is a lot of times narcissists may stalk you. And this again is because they are highly controlling and manipulative, and they believe that they own you. They believe that you are their property. Again, you're dealing with people that exist in victim abuser consciousness. There's no other relationship that you'll have with a narcissist that is not a victim abuser type 1. So even after the relationship ends, they still believe that they own you. So I see it oftentimes in the comments. Some people have to, physically move very far away to protect themselves. So understand that when it comes to no contact, this may be a process. So it may not be completely instant. So understand that when it comes to no contact, this occurs at several levels. And it occurs at several levels because you are a multidimensional being. So simply put, spirituality 101, personal development 101. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spirit operating a body with access to tools, namely our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions. Now, depending on the culture that you come from, you may use another term for spirit. So some people say source energy, light force, prana, chi, the observer, the watcher, etc. So you are spirit governing a human body. You are not the body itself. You have a body. The body is the vessel for spirit. For example, if you go to a funeral, then the person's body is in the casket, but you do not have access to the life force that is operating the body anymore. We are not our bodies. We have a body. For example, in the case of an amputee, well, the person lost their arm, but the arm is not the person. It is the person's arm. So again, we are not our bodies. We are also not our minds. Our minds are tools that we use to make decisions. And the mind is not the brain. The brain is a physical organ that is a part of the body. Our minds are not physical. The mind is comprised of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And you'll also hear me talk about the ego. You cannot touch the mind. You can touch the brain, but you cannot touch the mind. But you know that you have a mind because, again, you are not the mind. And this is why you know that pathological narcissists are losing their mind, because they believe that they are the mind. They believe that they are the ego. You are also not your emotions. You have emotions. You feel anger, but you're not anger itself. You have a will. And your willpower is like a disciplined muscle, so it can get weak. When you have a disciplined will, then you have a strong will. So your willpower is kind of like a battery, right? It can get drained and you have to let it build back up. But again, at your core, you are spirit. You are consciousness itself operating these different tools via a human body, via a human vessel. So when we're talking about no contact, then this is going to be happening at multiple levels. So physically, let's say you separate from this person. So you break up, right? And you move out. Let's say you were living together and you move out. So no contact at the physical level is just that. It is separating physically. But you still have the thoughts in the mind, right? A lot of us are in these relationships for, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, etc. The thoughts are still there in the mind. So it's going to take some time for you to go, let's say, fully no contact via the mind to get the thoughts out of your head. And understand that you're still going to remember the narcissist. So it's going to take some time for the rumination to die down, for example. Because you're distancing yourself also at the level of the mind. At an emotional level, it's the same thing. You were with this person for most likely a couple of months, a couple of years. So your emotions were caught up also in that relationship. It's not just on the physical level. So a lot of people will ask, how do you break the trauma bond? And the trauma bond essentially is a soul tie. The soul is comprised of the mind power, the willpower, and the emotion. So there's a lot to untangle. So understand that when we're talking about no contact, it can happen instantly, right? but oftentimes it's more so a process of going low contact to no contact. So it may happen over time. So I want to share with you a quick message here, a quick comment from the Conscious Trapper. And the Conscious Trapper writes that the spiritual awakening is very painful. And sometimes I get stuck and sometimes I break no contact, but the evil is still there. Should we feel sorry for them? So it is normal that sometimes you may break no contact, but you always have to have it in the back of your mind that no contact is there to protect you. All right, you're not punishing the narcissist. The narcissist does a good job at doing that by themselves. So again, no contact may take time. This could happen over days or months. However, know that it is best to cut these individuals off completely unless you have assets together that you must maintain together, or maybe you have children, and then you just have to go low contact or gray rock in that type of situation. But if you do not have any assets together, you do not have any children, in that scenario, then you should not be in communication with the narcissist. So when it comes to feeling sorry for the narcissist, understand that you're going to have a vast variety of emotions. So having empathy or even compassion for the narcissist is not the problem. The problem more so is if you have lack of boundaries, meaning that if you feel sorry for them and you're trying to reach out to them to give them compassion and say, oh, I'm sorry that this happened, and so on. Narcissists do not want your empathy. So again, it's not the empathy that is the problem. It is the lack of boundaries. So you will feel empathy. You will feel anger. You will feel sadness. You will feel grief. Sometimes you may feel pride. Sometimes you may feel neutrality. You may feel neutral. You may feel indifferent. So the feelings are going to be there because you have feelings. Again, your spirit's operating a human body with access to tools. And one of these tools are your emotions. So you're going to feel because you have feelings, right? So the main thing is that you understand, and I mean that you truly understand, that narcissists do not want your empathy. And this is why they will weaponize your empathy. They believe that our empathy is a weakness. Narcissists are empathy impaired. So if you give them your empathy, they really do not have any use for it. They're based in shame and they can't move past their pride. They cannot really use empathy. So what they do also is after the relationship, after you break up, or if you break up with the narcissist or if they discard you, however that part went. However, after the relationship, what they will actually do is they'll use your communications with them to triangulate the new supply. So they're going to be telling the new supply, hey, look, the stalking ex is still reaching out to me. And this is how they're going to frame it. They're going to frame it like you are the abuser, that you are the stalker. This is how the mind of the narcissist works. So they're going to use your text messages or your calls or you reaching out to them to triangulate the new supply, again, so that they can get more supply, because that is really what narcissists want. They want supply. They want your energy, your attention, your time, your money, and your resources. It is not the empathy that they want. They want attention, admiration, and validation. And they'll use this to try to make the new supply jealous so that the new supply pours more supply into them. So understand that you're going to have a whole bunch of different feelings. However, you must create and maintain boundaries and understand that you must go no contact if you do not have any children or assets to maintain with the narcissist. And also understand that this may take some time for you to go fully no contact. And simply put, pathological narcissists are people that have accepted an evil spirit. They are abusers. They exist in victim abuser consciousness. They get off from harming you. A lot of them are very sadistic. They like to humiliate others. They feed on your pain. When you're crying in front of the narcissist, they would really like to collect all of those tears and have a bubble bath. That is the individual that you're dealing with. The true spirit of the narcissist is what you saw in the devalue and the discard. The mask is what you saw in the love bomb or the Hoover. Let me say that again. The true spirit, the true evil spirit, that true cold reptilian-like creature that you saw in the devalue and the discard is who they are like. Not the kind mask that you saw in the Hoover or the love bomb. You see, pathological narcissists are like the Chucky doll. So Chucky pretends to be a good guy, and that is the mask. But if you know Chucky, you know that Chucky is operated by the spirit of a serial killer. That is the actual spirit that you're dealing with. And that spirit wants to break you. It wants to use you and then discard you. Because pathological narcissists really believe that you are an object. Just like a floor mat. And they'll wipe their dirty, muddy shoes on you. And then just walk away. Because nobody really cares about a floor mat. It's a mat. And this is how they view people. So understand that, again, when it comes to the no contact, this may happen over time. Again, days, weeks, months. But understand that you must go no contact to protect yourself. You cannot love a pathological narcissist. They cannot receive your love. And also they cannot love you because they do not have love to give. So as you continue on your healing journey, go ahead and pour all of that love and kindness and compassion back into yourself to revive your energy. If you're pouring into a pathological narcissist, then you're pouring into a black hole. They cannot receive your love. They lost that ability a very long time ago. You're dealing with people that are based in shame and they cannot move past their pride. So they're stuck in their ways. They're stuck on the hamster wheel of idealizing, devaluing, discarding, hoovering. And around they go. They're in a shame, pride cycle long before you came into the picture. Again, you're dealing with people that have very severe psycho-spiritual arrested development. We're talking about an impairment of the entire psyche. Hence why the clinicians call this a personality disorder. So mentally, they're off. Their emotions, again, based in shame, can't move past pride. At the level of willpower, they're very impulsive and compulsive. And when it comes to the spirit level, you're dealing with people that abandon their true selves, their true spirits, for a false self, that which we call the ego or the mask. You cannot build with a narcissist. They embody destructive energy. So in closing, understand that as you go no contact, as you continue to heal, as you continue to ascend, what you should be doing is pouring that love and kindness and compassion back into yourself. Continue to heal. Continue to watch these videos on NarcDojo and the other narcissistic abuse recovery channels. Hang out with loving friends and loving family members. Go to the beach, go to the park, go to the rivers, go to the lakes. Again, revitalize your energy. Pour that energy back into yourself. And that is how you heal. So again, maintain your ascension and you'll see where you'll feel much better over time. If you're pouring into a pathological narcissist, you really are pouring into a black hole. These individuals died a very long time ago. Again, they kind of gave up on life somewhere between the ages of about 5 and 12 years old. They gave up on their true self and they adopted a false self, and they want you to validate the false self. And if you don't validate the false self, then they have a narcissistic injury. And what is a narcissistic injury? It is when the narcissist perceives a threat whether real or imagined, that goes against their grandiose false self, that goes against their ego, that goes against their mask. They want you to validate the mask. So when you're telling this person that, hey, you're not Wonder Woman, you're not Spider-Man, then they get upset with you. That's a pathological narcissist. You cannot grow with that individual. They don't exist. They don't have a true self. And this is why you truly cannot know them. They don't exist. And this is why they can't grow. They abandon their true self for a false self. And they want you to be a part of their false reality. And this is why it feels like you're losing yourself in these relationships, because you are. You're interacting with someone that truly does not exist. They do not have a true self. So again, give yourself the love, kindness, compassion, and empathy that you were giving to the narcissist. Pour all of that back into yourself, and you'll see where you will become more like yourself. And you will stop being drained. All right, good people. That is where we are stopping off here in today's video. If you appreciate the content, please give us a like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content. If you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.